Jake Bates. Throwing right side, and it's going to be intercepted. Return past the 15, past the 20, out past the 30. Has space down the sideline. 40, 35, 30. And he is gone. A pick six for Houston. Snap good, hold good, kick up. And it is straight down the middle. Looking to throw, rolls out right. Throws end zone. Touchdown San Antonio. Cody Latimer alone in the end zone. They take a 1-point lead with 3 seconds left. 52-yarder, left hash, for the win. Snap good, hold good, kick up, and it's drilled. Miami escapes week 1 with the win. Jason Sanders is looking to throw. Pass right side, wide open. Touchdown Drake London. Touchdown Drake London. Atlanta has tied this game and are an extra point away from taking the lead. Needing the 12-yard line. Handoff, Robinson left side. And going to be stuffed. A loss of 4, maybe 5 on the play. And with 50 seconds to go, the Chiefs have the ball. And most likely that does it. Ball on the 17.5-yard line. Looking to throw. Stepping up, throwing for the end zone. And caught. Touchdown Green Bay. Dontavian Wicks. 56 seconds to play. The Packers are within 3. 6:17 to play in overtime. Tua shotgun. Back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Bunched up. Tua to throw. Pass time. Plenty of time. Pass. End zone. Left side. Jonnu Smith. Touchdown Miami. They're gonna win. Let's go, baby. Here, back behind him. 3 receiving options to the left. Gonna send Smith in motion. Toss left side for Saquon Barkley. Good blocking and room to run. Pass midfield. Spinning his way. Pass to 35 to 30. 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and the Eagles respond instantly. Saquon Barkley. Oh my, making his presence felt. 1 play, 60 yards, 3rd and 9 from the 35. Mahomes looking to throw. Quick pass left side, caught by Piron. Has room to run. First down and more. Down to about the 17. And he stays in bounds. That will do it. The Kansas City Chiefs have escaped the Bills and have punched their ticket. Hello. We are here. We are alive. We continue week 6 of the UFO season with 2 games today. Starting off with what I think will end up being game of the week, depending on obviously we'll see how it goes, but a few good games on a good game on Friday, a good game yesterday. What I think will be game of the week is this one here between DC and Michigan. Both teams find themselves in quite a precarious spot now all of a sudden. With Houston and St. Louis coming up the coattails of both of these teams trying to get a higher ranking in their respective conferences. This is going to be a really, really tight and really good game. We have both teams 2-1 in their respective conferences. DC alone with only 1 loss in the UFL this season at 4-1. Michigan sitting at 3-2. And it's gonna be a pretty damn good game. I feel like this game means a lot more for Michigan than it does for DC. Just because even if DC gets the number 1 spot in the XFL conference, they're not going to be able to host the playoff game due to scheduling conflicts. Whereas Michigan, I believe, as it stands, if they get the top spot, they would be able to host that playoff game. So it definitely means a lot more for them, trying to get ahead of Birmingham. But we shall see. And this is going to be a pretty damn good game. Also, I know that their second round series doesn't start today, but because I won't be live when it does, I'm going to show them my support for the New York Knicks. Got a buddy who's a Knicks fan, so that's gonna be the cup of choice for a little while. But these noon kickoffs, I'm still taking a second to get. It's I love the UFL. It's been great. The season's been great, but these noon kickoffs, man, I'm just But again, this is a game to wake up early for sure. Oh yeah, tonight is Game 7 for the Blues and Jets. That's gonna be a great game. And yeah, tomorrow kicks off Panthers Leafs. That's gonna be a great series as well. Yeah, both of these teams are contenders. That's why it's a really high profile game. Both of these two teams are contenders. Both of these two teams have been going back and forth in my top spot for power rankings the past few weeks. I really do feel like both of these teams have what it takes to be the ones to dethrone Birmingham. Because whereas again, DC's offense on yeah, it starts tomorrow, I know. I was kind of hoping it started tonight, but it's fine starting tomorrow. Again, I kind of just NBA again, the Heat got absolutely destroyed in their first round series, so I am just like now chilling with the NBA. Whereas in the NHL, we still got the Cats. Whereas I still got the Cats. Yeah, DC's defense is definitely the highlight of this team. For as much as I really like what their offense can do as a team, I would like it to be more consistent or more consistent in its inconsistency. Tiamu is the leading passer right now in the UFL, playing really well this season. But again, like he has those moments every single game where it's just like you're better than this to make this kind of mistake. What you doing? Meanwhile, yeah, this Bryce Perkins gonna get the full 60 today. He's getting the start. Not gonna be a 2 QB system. That idea is dead in Michigan, and finally it is. And this is a perfect time to end the 2 QB system. If only way Danny Edling should be able to see the field is through unfortunate circumstances. Because Bryce Perkins has been that guy this season for this Michigan team. But this is gonna be an exciting one. Any notable? Oh, Jaden Sheardon's inactive for Michigan, alongside Seth Vernon. So they have a new punter for this one. Vernon has been a reliable punter for them this year, so that's an interesting tidbit. But for the most part, both of these two teams still sit as is, which is great. This matchup being between two healthy teams is exactly what the league needs. I think Keandre Thomas being inactive for DC is a little bit of a worry spot in that secondary, but they still have pretty much everyone else a part of that secondary that are key contributors. Is there a waiting kickoff in this one? I mean, either team would probably benefit from getting ball first and getting on the board first. This is really one where this is really a type of game where it's going to be whoever gets ball last probably wins. Also, a game where I think Michigan would have liked to have Marcus Sims, but obviously him not being here, it hasn't really mattered too much this season for Michigan, but nonetheless. And they're interviewing BT Potter before this kickoff real quick. Yeah. But yeah, DC will be getting the ball first in this one. So we get to see Jordan Teamu and his DC offense for the first time. And we get to see this Michigan defense. Again, both of these teams have some really damn good defenses. Definitely top 4 in the UFL. As kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from inside the 15. And that's Chris Rowland working his way to about the 33, maybe the 34. And out comes Jordan Teamu, the leading passer in the UFL, leading with passing yards, entering this week. Again, over 1,200 passing yards already. DC has been a very pass happy team this year. Not what I was expecting, considering that they do have a pretty solid running back room. But it's been working for them. They sit at 4-1 for a reason, large part because of that defense. But Teamu has also done his job very well this year. So we shall see how it goes. Teamu is in shotgun, back to his left, 2 receiving options to each side, ball on their own 34. And the first play of the game is going to... They're going to shift the running back to the right first. Okay, so now, first play of the game is going to be a handoff up the middle for Deion Jackson, and that's a gain of roughly 2. If they get, I don't think they need to be more run heavy in this one. I think they can play their style. But if they can get the ground game established in some way, they'll definitely be beneficial. Tiamu and shotgun back to his left, 3 receivers to the left as well, as he's going to play action, look to throw, quick pass left side, caught by Roland for a little screen. Wide receiver screen that gets about 10, maybe 11 for a DC first down. They scored a touchdown off of that same play last week against Arlington. Again, this DC offense looking to strike first, which again will go a long ways away. We'll go a long way in this one. Every drive is going to matter in this game. Ball now on the 48. Tiamu and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right as well as he'll look to throw once again. Pressure coming. Dump off right side for a halfback screen to Deion Jackson. Is going to get past midfield. And gain of roughly 3 or 4. But there is a penalty marker down. This will probably be brought back due to holding. Yep, holding on DC. That's not a good way to start this. I mean, the screen worked, but yeah, there's the clear hold there. That was Liam Fornadell being called with a hold there on against Kai Nakua. So rough start to this. Now back up to their own 38. As Xiaomi will look to throw in first and 20. Has plenty of time. Passing right side, going for it, and incomplete. Slightly overthrows Braylon Sanders. Great coverage there as well. It's now 2nd and 20. I don't hate the deep shot on first down. On 1st and 20, I don't hate it, but now you have to make sure you get at least 10. And Thiamu in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the right as well. As Thiamu is going to toss this right side for Deion Jackson, has some blockers trying to get towards the sideline. Eventually brought down, but a gain of 5 nonetheless for DC. Makes it a slightly more manageable 3rd down, but still not a great spot to be in. Frank Ginda on the tackle there to force that 3rd down. Right? I mean, they gave him 6. It was a 3rd and 14. I mean, this is a pass down most likely. I mean, Tiamu, with this offense, they're gonna try and get the first here. 12.5 to play in the first. Tiamu and shotgun back to his left. 3 receiving options to the left as well as he's going to play action, look to throw. Tiamu has time. Pass over the middle. Caught. That's a first down and more. A gain of 16, maybe 17. And that was Javon Antonio on the reception. What a throw from Jordan Tiamu to fit in that window. Yeah, it fits in that window darn well. As it, one of the safety options was stream. I believe that was Arnold Tarpley who's streaming across the field trying to get a hand on that ball. Tiamu fits it in. Adonis Alexander was the corner in coverage. Not good enough. Pass midfield for the first time today as Tiamu is going to touch pass this left side for Chris Rowland, who's going to break some tackles and still find room to run. Breaks another first down reception for Chris Rowland and a gain of 12. 11.5 to play in the first. This DC offense, man. You give them breathing room, they're gonna take all of it. That's a great block on that outside as well. I believe that was really more on that block. Tiamu and shotgun back to his left, 2 receiving options to each side. Ball on the plus 27. Gonna hand this off to Deion Jackson right side, and that is a gain of roughly 5. And not too shabby. This has been exactly the opening drive that DC wanted. Maybe minus a penalty. But it has definitely been the drive. A great way to start this game. Ball now on the 22.5-yard line. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. We'll look to throw once more. Tiamu with time. Pass right side. A wide open receiver. His caught, gets inside the 20, inside the 15, and down to the 14. A first down reception for Jaden Mickens as DC has entered the red zone for the first time today. Again, the battle there between And maybe not the battle that I definitely did not mention this battle in the predictions, but the DC offense versus Michigan defense is going to be a nice battle to watch throughout this game. The more important one, I think, is going to be Michigan offense, DC defense. Tommy, we're going to look to throw once again from shotgun. Pass right side is behind and incomplete. Looking for Braylon Sanders. Luckily, that wasn't picked off. I think Sanders got a hand on that one to just barely force enough movement of that ball for it to be incomplete. DJ Miller nearly had his third on the season right there. Now 2nd and 10. Tiami and shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. Ball on the 14. Tiami will hand this off up the middle for Deion Jackson, and that's a gain of 4 up to the 10. 9.5 to play in the first. I mean, this has been a great drive, even if it stalls out here, but one of the things with DC, especially earlier on in this season, was the fact that they had a lot of drives stall out on them, which forced a lot of the closer games that they played. So 3rd and 6, Tiami and shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side. They're bunched up. Still have a first down marker to gain, so they don't need it all here. Tiami will look to throw. Has some time. Pass right side. Caught by Sanders and out of bounds. Thinking to be just a yard shy at the 5. But I like the idea of a quick hitter to the outside. It nearly worked. Honestly, puts you in a spot here that you can most likely go for this and still feel fine. 8:40 to play in the first, and he has 4th and 1, and seems like the offense is going to stay on the field. Braylon Sanders had a big game last week. That's a former Miami Dolphin right there. His most noteworthy play as a Dolphin was a fumble against the Lions a few years back. As offense stand on the field, Tiamu and shotgun back behind him, a tight end lined up to his right, and an extra lineman as well, as there's a stoppage before the snap, and I think they're just trying to get Michigan to jump off sides. Yep, delay of game on DC. They're just trying to get Michigan to jump. Unable to. And imagine now comes Matt McCrane now. Okay. I would not have hated the idea of going for it there. If you only needed a yard. But the safer play, especially against this Michigan team, is definitely to take the points. When you have a kicker like Matt McCrane, who is one of the more reliable kickers in the UFL, yeah, 28-yard kick, this should be easy for him. Yeah, he did miss from roughly this range against Memphis, I believe. Or it was against St. Louis, but nonetheless, like, this is a cheap shot. And it's going to be blocked! It's blocked! Matt McCrane's kick is blocked! DJ Miller! Oh, there's now a penalty marker down. They're going to say he jumped off sides first. The 28-yard kick gets blocked. We'll see what the penalty is. As I was just saying, and this is a cheap shot for McCrane. I think that's the first time. I think that's the first time I ever had an announcer's jinx. That's great. I might have had one earlier this season, but if this stands, this will also be the second blocked field goal this season. As Michigan had a kick blocked a few weeks back against San Antonio. Alright, so there's 2 penalties on Michigan there. One was the offsides that was declined. The other was a personal foul, which will give DC a first down. But then now again, that was an after the play penalty though. So it should still be Michigan ball. I'm not sure why they would accept. Oh no, because DC fell on the blocked kick. That's why. So it is 1st and goal nonetheless for DC. Yeah, that's a case where if Michigan fell on a blocked kick, they would have accepted the offsides and declined the personal foul. But the offense right back on the field for 1st and goal. Nearly a great play by the special teams unit of Michigan, but Instead, DC has a massive opportunity here. What should have been a massive momentum switch for... I'm trying to figure out, I think, spot here. Or I'm trying to figure out the time, I think. Okay, no, okay, cool. That's what I thought. Yeah, so they've went back. DC accepted the offsides, declined the personal foul, because otherwise it would have been Michigan ball. So Tiamu, still in this game though, gonna hand this off up the middle on 4th and 1 to Deion Jackson. He's not gonna get it. So at the end of the day, Michigan still makes a massive stand, and it's still no points on the board for DC. That was a misplay. That was a misplay. That's a great stand though by Michigan's defense. Who? Nope. Garrett Marino was the first Panther in there in the backfield on Deion Jackson. The same player who got the personal foul penalty the play prior on the blocked kick. As we head to a commercial break with about 8 minutes to play in the first quarter, DC, a fantastic drive that goes nowhere and ends in nothing. And Michigan is sitting with a lot of momentum all of a sudden. We shall see. We'll say the good thing that came out of that, if you're trying to find a bright spot there for DC, is now Michigan will have ball at their own 5 to begin this drive instead of like what would have been definitely better field position on a kickoff, or even if they just let that block stand on what would have been maybe the 10 to 15. So if you have to try and find a bright spot for that, it's the fact that they're backed up now, and that is a reason why you would decide to go for it there instead of just kick the field goal on 4th and 1. Still don't love it, but it makes somewhat sense. As we're still at commercial break. All right, 8 minutes to play in the first quarter. We're back from commercial break. A great 4th down stand just took place for this Michigan defense. Garrett Marino, the main Panther in the backfield there. Now we get to see this Michigan offense for the first time today, led by Bryce Perkins, who is, I believe, the favorite currently for league MVP. And it would make complete sense. He's been a weapon for this Michigan offense. He's in shotgun, back behind him. First play going to be a handoff left side, and that's some good room to run for a gain of 9 for Toa Taua. Talk about guys that have really surged in the past few weeks. Toa Taua has been one of them. Really had his first true full game's chance last week, and he's taking full advantage of it. Don't hurry up here. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. I give to Tower once again up the middle, but this time DC read it like a book, a loss of 2. Still 3rd and short though. Still a 3rd and short. You have the breathing room after the first down carry, so you can kind of just run your offense here. And they say you got back to the line, so a 3rd and 1. It's a 3rd and a long one, basically a 3rd and 2. Perkins and shotgun gonna hand this off up the middle once again, and there's a lower in the shoulder of Talwa to push forward and get the first down. A gain of roughly 4. It is crazy how quickly Toa Tawa has surged into being the lead back for Michigan. Nate McCrary is still on this roster. He's still a really good back, but Tawa has just been a breath of fresh air in that running back room the past week or so. Yeah, there definitely is a lot more parity week to week in the UFL. Perkins and shotgun going to give it to Tawa once again up the middle, and there's going to be some room and a gain of 6-7 there for Tawa. So 2nd and 4. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right as well. After sending the receiver in motion left to right. Perkins gonna keep it himself and pass over the middle for a first down and more. Breaking one tackle and has some room up to about the 38. That's Malik Turner on the reception. The really solid RPO game of Michigan has worked wonders for them this season. It's that same style RPO that they run every single week that continues to work. You have the handoff up the middle. You have Perkins able to keep it himself right side. You have a flat route to the tight end, and you have like a 5-yard sit to the outside receiver. It works. It's been a bread and butter for this Michigan offense. Perkins in play action, going to look to throw here once again, pass left side, and that's an open receiver for a gain of 12. And that is Malik Turner once again, actually going to say a gain of 13, and Michigan has now crossed midfield for the first time today on the opening drive. 5 minutes to play in the first. I think the idea for Michigan might be that McCrary is more so of the receiving back, which would make sense. Perkins and shotgun back to his right, 2 receiving options to each side, and going to pass right side. Has a man wide open down the field. That's a first down and a whole lot more inside the 30 to about the 26. That is Jalen Moore on the reception. That RPO once again. They scored a touchdown on that same exact play a few weeks back, I believe against San Antonio. But it just works, man. This RPO style of an offense for Michigan works really, really well. As Perkins is shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. Ball now on the plus 26 as Perkins is going to hand this off up the middle for McCrary. He has some room past the 20 and a first down carry for Nate McCrary down into the red zone to about the 15 as Michigan has entered the red zone for the first time today, looking to get on the board first and take this early lead. Offensive line, I mean, that probably won't get called holding if they challenge it, but there's definitely a potential there. Perkins and shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the right as well. As Perkins is going to give it to McCrary once again, left side has some room inside the 10 and down to the 8. Under 3.5 now to play in the first. The battle between this Michigan offense and the DC defense is going to be a great one to watch today. And this drive has shown it. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the left, including 2 tight ends. Perkins going to keep it himself and throw it right side. Now to Gunnar. Oaks has some room inside the 5, stretching forward and going to be brought down at the 1. The RPO. It's working wonders. It's making things simple for Bryce Perkins, and it has really helped out. And Gunnar Oaks, a great addition after he missed last week, I believe, or he definitely missed the game against Memphis. But he's been the main tight end for Michigan this season. Great play there. It's now 1st and goal. 2:25 to play in the first quarter. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right as well. All 3 tight ends are lined up out there. Handoff up the middle for Tawa. And the second effort's going to get in. Michigan on the board. First, they find the end zone first. It is a 6-0 Panthers lead. Tawa, man. A great second effort to get in the end zone. And there's the issue. I mean, yeah, you have him. What's going on with the broadcast? Why is ESPN glitching out? Anyway, that's the risk you take when going forward on 4th and 1 from the 5. Yes, you back him up, but now you just had a 95-yard touchdown drive. The 1-point try from the 2. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. Going to keep it himself, trying to roll to his right. Now pump fake it. Now going to properly keep it himself as he's high stepping in. It's a 7-point Michigan lead. RPO once again. And one thing I really love about Michigan's style of play is they are not scared to go for the 1-point try. Like, they realize how important just getting these conversions are in this league. Because like that makes a difference. Getting an extra point there makes a difference. As we're gonna head to a commercial break with about 2 minutes to play in the first. Yeah, I don't think it really would have mattered if they would have gotten the first down or kicked a field goal on that opening drive for DC. But I do think that if you just take the points there, you would not have given Michigan the momentum that they had to begin that drive. Because making that 4th and 1 stand, it fired up that Michigan team, and they came ready to play. The offense came ready afterwards. And it's also the fact that in this Michigan offense is a really good offense, and they've lost 2 games this season, less because of the offense and more because of the 2 QB system. Like, Bryce Perkins has been a great player for Michigan this year. And he was perfect on that drive. The ground game worked really well. They're finding ways to get guys separation. And they're not doing anything fancy with it. It's like the same 2 or 3 RPOs that they run primarily. And it's a really effective ground game. We'll see how DC adjusts. I mean, they were able to do that. The DC's adjustments in halftime last week won them that game against Arlington. We'll see what Blake Williams can scheme up this week for adjustments, but it's going to be a tough one. As yeah, Tawa has taken it by storm these past few weeks. Yeah, I mean, past 3 weeks. I mean, his game against Memphis, he didn't. It was really more so a second half he showed up in because like they were getting ahead. But he had a really good conversion run against Memphis. He had like, some other good runs against Memphis as well. Last week was really his breakout week. I love that Muhammad Ali tattoo he has on his left arm. That looks great. Yeah, like Toa Tawa, man, he's been a really nice breath of fresh air in this running back room. That in the first few weeks of the season, the ground game wasn't working as it was kind of expected to work. Kickoff going to be returned at about the 10, and trying to work his way down that right side is Jaden Mickens, who gets up to about the 27-28. Oh yeah, the Detroit style pizza. As we wait for DC's second drive for the game, again, it was a really good drive they were building on the opening drive. Just couldn't find points. They stalled out in the red zone. They had that field goal blocked. And then on the following 4th and 1, due to an offsides penalty, they got stuffed. Yamu and shotgun going to keep it himself up the middle and get nothing on that one. No gain on the play. Frank Ginda, the one who meets Tiamu at the line. And we had under 2 minutes now to play in the first at 1:45 to play. Tiamu going under center. Back behind him, 2 receiving options to each side. Ball still sitting at the 27. Tiamu going to play action, look to throw. That pressure coming, going to step up to avoid it. Breaks off 1 sack and eventually going to be brought down. But gets pushed forward a bit for a gain of roughly 2 or 3. But still not a whole lot going on that one. All right, you can say a gain of 2, so it's 3rd and 8. So 3rd and 8, Tiamu alone in shotgun. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left as he'll look to throw. Quick pass right side, caught by Rolling with space. First down and more. Pass to 45 and out of bounds to the 47. Ty Nakua forces him out of bounds there. One key piece that Michigan is missing today on the offensive side is they are going to be without Samson Nakua, as he got suspended after an altercation with a fan last week. So we'll see how much of an impact that has. Asiamu going to quick pass left side, and that's going to be incomplete. Looking for Mason Fairchild. No, that's Ben Bresnahan he's looking for. Try a little RPO themselves there, but not a grade. As that's the end of the first quarter as well. So the end of the first quarter, 15 in the books. 2 really good drives as DC is building on another good drive as well. But it has been a pretty offensive-centric game. I mean, Michigan made that very clutch stop on the opening drive for DC. That might be the single stop that decides this game. But it's gonna be an interesting one in the second quarter. DC having the ball is gonna be a 2nd and 10, right around midfield, looking just respond at this point. There's not a lot of pressure on this offense just yet. You can get some kind of points out of it. I think you'll be fine still. But leaving that opening drive scoreless is definitely going to hurt for the rest of this game. That was definitely a drive you needed to capitalize off of. I mean, you get inside the 5 and you get nothing out of it. See, you're good, Ball Flash. How you doing? So far, the defenses have not played and stood out like how I thought they were going to in this one. As we're just coming back from commercial break for the start of the second quarter. Hell yeah. I assume the main thing you'll be watching today, at least during the day, is going to be the Cards doubleheader against the Mets, right? All I know is that even though we have the beginning of round 2 tonight and game 7 between Warriors and Rockets, my main game of interest tonight is Blues Jets. Tommy with shotgun back to his right, looking to throw on 2nd and 10. Gonna roll to his left to buy some time. Throwing left side, caught by Roland. That's a gain of 9 along the sideline. They cross midfield, and this DC offense is still finding ways to move the ball effectively. Yeah. Like, it is crazy that Blues Jet series has had 7 and not a single road team has won yet. Handoff up the middle on third and 1. That's going to be just enough for the first down by Abram Smith, a gain of 2. I mean, all the Blues need to do tonight is do what they have been doing to Hellebuck when they're the home team. But for some reason, Hellebuck just plays a lot better in Winnipeg, and I get it. Yeah. That's gonna be a feisty game 7. A lot better. Probably a lot feistier than what Colorado Dallas was last night. Gonna fake the toss left as Tiamu looks to throw. Pass right side, a wide open tight end over the middle. Gonna be a first down and a whole lot more inside the 20 to the 19. That's Ben Bresnahan on the reception. And again, both of these offenses moving at will at this point. And going hurry up, here's DC. Tiamu gonna hand this off up the middle for Abram Smith, and that is a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Also, for as much as I like the Michigan Panthers brand, the blue kind of pisses me off in the logo and in the branding. Because part of me feels like it's only there to have an excuse to have the end zones, so that way they can explain the fully painted end zone still. Which I get. There's no way the Lions are going to let them remove that. Tiamu going to hand this off left side for Deion Jackson, and that's a gain of roughly 2-ish once again, up to about the 16. At the very least, I wish that blue was less of a tertiary color and kind of more so their secondary, but again, Michigan still has one of the better branded, one of the better brands in the league. I do love how it looks nonetheless. All right, a 3rd and 7, and they were gonna break the huddle with about 8 seconds left on the play clock. So DC is gonna call their first timeout. 12 and a half to play in the first half, and then in the second quarter. We head to a commercial break. We shall see. DC definitely can't afford for this drive to stall out. For this drive to stall out again. Oh yeah. Damn. I mean, Bradley, like, he's a good linebacker. Yeah, I saw that report as well. Kind of just waiting for you to find him. But yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. But I would imagine that a team would probably try and trade for him if the deal, if it's like if they can get him for like a relatively solid offer. I mean, he's still a solid linebacker. Correct me if I'm wrong. In the was it AFC Championship game a few years back? Um, in in 22, he was the linebacker who hit Mahomes late, right? I believe that's correct. That was him. Okay, that's what I thought when I saw that report, but I wasn't sure. I mean, it's just that the 6 million in cap is in. Yeah, road to 57. Yeah, that cap hit isn't great for sure for someone of his level, but it's still not terrible. I mean, what is the issue that he won't take a pay cut? I would imagine that's a big issue. I would imagine it's the pay reasons. Like since his defense is already at a very weird spot, and you're gonna move on from a solid linebacker, which is not the easiest thing to replace. I mean, yeah, if you have the abundance, you might as well try and shed some cap that way because you do need someone to pay Trey Hendrickson. Damu alone in shotgun, looking to throw in 3rd and 6. Has time, passes end zone, right side wide open, and caught by Braylon Sanders. Back corner of the end zone, the Ole Miss connection, and this game is within one. 15-yard touchdown grab. The former Miami Dolphins making plays still in DC. I don't remember what broadcast it was. I think it was last week's broadcast between DC and Arlington, where the ESPN broadcast kind of pointed out how many different former Dolphins are in the UFL, and the more and more they make plays, the more the more I just laugh. Now the 2-point try from the 5 to take a 1-point lead. Teamu in shotgun, 4 receivers to the right, and they look to throw once again. Pass in right side, and it's incomplete. Both of their tight ends, Brilliant Moore and Ben Bresnahan, ran into each other to make it so not a great separation. Throw appears overthrown, but probably would have worked. Nonetheless, it's a 1-point Michigan lead. Yeah, the Ole Miss connection between Braylon Sanders and Braylon Sanders and Jordan Teamu. former college teammates, and man, they been a pretty solid year for Braylon Sanders. So kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from the 1 and has some room down that right side past the 25 to about the 27. As a first and 10 for Michigan, 12:20 to play in this one. Looking to now respond to the touchdown DC just had. Perkins and shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. Ball on the 27. Perkins going to play action, look to throw, passing deep, left side for Jalen Moore, and incomplete. And there is a penalty marker down. They're going to call DPI on that. I'm going to call it on Kelvin Joseph. Yeah, that's DPI. So it's going to be a first and 10 from the 42. Perkins and shotgun back behind him. 3 receiving options to the right. Perkins going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to be a gain of 3 for Toa Tawa. So second and 7, Perkins and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right as well. Going to keep it himself right side. Now passing in the flat to Cole Hikutini. And that's a gain of 8, maybe 9 for the Panthers. Offense just moving effectively. And then that's been the thing with Michigan, really since that Birmingham game in week 2, is they've found ways to just move the ball well. Perkins and shotgun back to his right, 2 receiving options to each side. Ball past midfield at the 45. Gonna send the receiver in comeback motion as he's going to play action, look to throw. Pressure in his face. Perkins, good stiff arm to come to force him off. He's now throwing right side. That's gonna be caught, and then that's either caught or fumbled. If it's a fumble, I'm pretty sure it's picked up by Michigan. What a sequence there. There is a penalty marker down, probably roughing the passers. It seems like Bryce Perkins took a shot there. But after the play action, pressure instantly in Perkins' face, a fantastic stiff arm to break loose. And then a good throw there to Malik Turner. Not sure if he was able to hang on or not. Let's see what. And they're going to say legal man downfield on Michigan. Okay. Penalty is declined. Okay, no, Perkins did a good job avoiding the hit there. I think that's incomplete though. I don't think Malik Turner had full possession. Yeah, it's gonna be second and 10 from the 45. Bryce Perkins' mobility is a great part of this offense as well. Handoff up the middle for Tawa, going to stumble his way for nothing on the place. He was instantly in the backfield. So Perkins is shotgun back to his left, 3 receivers to the right, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11, basically. Perkins going to look to throw, pressure coming, escaping it to his right to buy some time. Still looking downfield, going to try and keep it himself now, and going to get about 3, maybe 4. Perkins may have been hit a little late there, and the offensive lineman takes some reception to it, and there's some kind of punch thrown. How is there no penalty marker down after that? I mean, it's not like a full punch, more so just like a shove to the head. But that's still like unnecessary. But it's gonna be a 4th down nonetheless for Michigan. I would say that's a late hit though. It's gonna be a 4th and 7. I imagine 4th and 7. Well, you just pass. You're at about the 40. You'll be a long field goal try. I mean, maybe BT Potter can hit it from here. Yeah, no, they're gonna send out a punting unit. I do not hate this idea. So DC's defense keeps Michigan off the board on the second drive, but it was still a really solid drive that Michigan had built. Bryce Perkins showing off his mobility on that drive a lot more than the opening drive. And again, his mobility has been a massive factor in a lot of games this year for Michigan. Not going to be a delay of game on Michigan to try to get DC to jump to maybe get a field goal try out of this, but gonna give their punting unit some more room to work here. That pop-up said delay of game on DC, but that was definitely not the case. Yeah, I'm pretty sure DC declined that though. It would make sense. 8.5 to play in the first half. It's a 1-point game from Michigan as we await DC getting the ball back here as the Panthers are set to send this one down. I know, okay, they accepted it as a 4th and 12. So yeah, more room to work here. The punt comes off clean, trying to pin DC deep. Going to be returned beginning from the 5 and breaks 1 tackle, but going to be forced towards the sideline and out of bounds near the 4. That was Jaden Mickens on the return. I don't get what he's doing there. Let it bounce, but great play by this Michigan special teams unit, and it's going to be a long ways to go for this DC offense now. We head to a commercial break as well. All right, we're at a commercial break with about 8.5 to play in the first half. I will quickly be right back. All right, so that commercial break. We still at commercial break. As again, Michigan, as both teams now have had a really good scoring drive and also a really good drive that just stalled out. As 8:33 to play in this first half. Yamu and shotgun back to his left. 3 receiving options to the right. Ball on their own 5-yard line. Yamu going to hand this off up the middle, and that's Deion Jackson with a good carry for 7 yards to give this offense some breathing room for the rest of this drive. Yeah, DC has had back-to-back 10-plus play drives and only have 1 touchdown to show for it. Siamu and shotgun back to his left. 3 receiving options to the right. Going to hand this off once again up the middle for Deion Jackson. And that's a gain of roughly 6, 7 once again. And going to be enough for a first down. Now under 8 minutes to play. Siamu and shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. Going to hand this off once again to Deion Jackson left side. And going to stumble his way past the 25 to the 26.5. And a gain of roughly 7. Yamu and shotgun back to his right, going to keep it himself this time right side, trying to find someone going to eventually just dump it off near Brilly Moore. But great pressure there by Michigan, forced the bad pass, and just no time to really work and let that play develop. Try to bootleg there. We have Shannon Harris. He's been a great interim head coach for DC this season after Reggie Barlow got that Tennessee State head coaching job. I'm curious to see if he's going to be staying on for next year or not. I feel like he should. He's been coaching this. He's been doing a really damn good job as the coach for this team. Yamu and shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side. A 3rd and 2. Going to look to throw here on 3rd down. Rolling to his right to buy some more time. Still looking. And going to be sacked inside the 20 at the 17. This Michigan defense making a stand. Mike Taufa on the sack there. They're going to force a long punt. Or force a punt there. I mean, you could have taken the check down early, but yeah, there's just nothing. It's a good coverage on the back end by Michigan. Punt comes off clean, going to be returned beginning from the 41, breaks 1 tackle, breaks the second, and eventually going to be ganged up for a gain for a return of only about 1 yard. 6 minutes to play in the first half. This Michigan offense sees the field once again, in what has been a really effective game for this offense. Again, I mentioned it in predictions that the battle I was really looking forward to in this one was between Mike Nolan and Blake Williams. So far, advantage goes to Mike Nolan. But we'll see. The key thing is going to be halftime adjustments. DC did a great job at that last week in order to really shut down Arlington in the second half and get that win. We'll see if they can do something similar today, and we'll see if Michigan can extend this lead on this drive right before the half. Michigan does get ball to begin the second half as well, so they're in a prime spot here to really begin the process of running away with this game. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. Ball on the 46. Going to hand this off up the middle for Tawa and has room to run the first down and more. Past the 40, 35 and down to the 34, lowering his shoulder. A big time carry for Toa Tawa. Yeah, he's surged onto the scene recently. Has been a massive factor of this Michigan offense. It's been really, really impressive. Isaiah Johnson was the one on the tackle there, but again, not before a large pickup. Perkins and shotgun back to his right, ball on the plus 34-yard line, 5.5 to play in this first half. Two receiving options to each side, can motion the receiver left to right as they hand this off to Tawa up the middle for a loss of a yard back to the 35. All right. So 5 minutes now to play in this first half. It's a 2nd and 11 coming up. Perkins in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. Ball on the 35. Perkins to throw. Quick pass left side caught by Malik Turner and going to get nothing on that one. Bryce Thompson meets him at the line for no gain. A big 3rd down coming up. 4.5 to play in this first half. We're approaching the middle 8. You want to get at least half, just so that way it's easier field goal try. If you can get inside the 30, you're feeling good. Sending out BT Potter. Perkins in shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side. The key thing is just don't lose any more yards. Perkins to throw. Pressure coming and going to break off one would-be sack. Breaks off a second. Breaks off a third. Now throwing right side. Wide open inside the 15. Inside the 10. The 5. Touchdown Michigan. Cole Hikutini. What? Bryce Perkins. What a play. A 35-yard touchdown. Give him the MVP. Give this man the MVP right now. Bryce Thompson had a free lane, and he breaks off that would-be sack. He breaks off a would-be sack from Devonshaw Maxwell and also from, I believe, Joe Wallace. He breaks off 3 sacks, recovers his footed, and still throws a strike to a wide-open Cole Hikutini. What a play. And Michigan will now go for 1 from the 2 to try to make this an 8-point game with 4 minutes to play in the half. Perkins and shotgun back to his right, 3 receiving options to the right as well. And going to hand this off to Nate McCrary. He gets in untouched. It is an 8-point Michigan lead with 3:57 to play. Why was Danny? I mean, again, Danny Edling is a fun player. There's a good, like last year we had a lot of fun watching Edling. But man, there's no reason Bryce Perkins should have ever been in a 2 QB system in Michigan. Just no reason. What a play. Kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from about the 4.5-yard line. As Deion Jackson going to work his way to about the 22. Some great kick coverage there from Michigan. And we're going to see Jordan Ta'amu once again in this one. Yamu and shotgun back to his left. Two receiving options to each side. Quick throw left side. Going to be caught by Roland. But it's a low throw. He's going to get nothing on the play. So under 3.5 to play. 2nd and 10. Yamu and shotgun back to his left. Three receivers to the right. Going to look to throw here on 2nd and 10. Has some time. Going to step up in the pocket. Throwing one deep. Over the middle. Has a man and incomplete. Looking for Braylon Sanders. Wanted some flags there. But trying that 50-50 ball just could not get it. Just could not connect. Levante Taylor in coverage. I think if ball was slightly underthrown. If Yamu throws that. If Yamu throws that more so in the middle and more so down the field, he might have something there. It seems like Sanders did have a step on that, but it's at the end of the day, still good coverage. So 3rd and 10, Tiamu and shotgun, a back to his left and a back to his right. Trying to avoid going 3 and out here as Tiamu looks to throw once again. Pass over the middle, it's sailed high and incomplete. It's a 3 and out for DC, and watch out, here come the Panthers. Punt comes off clean. It's a high one. Doesn't really go that far. It's shanked out of bounds near the plus 37. This game about to get ugly. Great starting field position for Michigan now. As that's an uncharacteristic shank of a punt by Braxton Brooks. Or by Paxton Brooks. And with 2:13 to play in the half, Michigan is already in field goal range. They can already extend this lead and make it a 2-possession game. Plus, they get ball to begin the second half. The middle 8 is such an important section of the game, and this first 4 minutes of the middle 8 have really shown it. Perkins in shotgun, back to his left, 3 receivers to the right, ball on the 34-yard line. Gonna shift it back to Perkins' right now. As Perkins will keep it himself right side, has some room to run, gonna jump his way for a gain of 9, up to the 25. Bryce Perkins, man. Just give him league MVP right now at this point. He's been fantastic this season. And that will bring us to the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes to play. Michigan up by 8 with ball already at the plus 25-yard line. Thanks to a really bad punt by Paxton Brooks. As we head to a commercial break. But man, oh man. I brought a commercial break, 2 minutes to play. It is so funny. Because when the Ravens drafted Tyler Loop out of Arizona, right out of Arizona, when they drafted Tyler Loop, the kicker, me and my friend were talking about how it's most likely going to be is most likely a sign that they're wanting to move on from Justin Tucker at some point. Because again, he didn't have the greatest of seasons last year. You bring someone in to get that competition again. A highlight of him hitting from 75 yards out during pregame is circling around. But the thing is, like, it was off a tee with no one. Like, it wasn't like off a snap and hold, which would have been a much different situation there. Like, I think Tyler Loop is gonna be a good kicker in the NFL if given a shot. But you can't use that 75-yard pre-game kick as a reasoning. All right, Kachuk had an off day today. Yeah, but again, that's not the reason. That would not be the reason the Ravens move on from Justin Tucker. For as much as probably should, he's a kicker. No one cares. The average NFL fan are just gonna see are just gonna be like, is he making his kicks? Yes, keep him. It's like a big again. We talked about this during draft night. Like a big reason why Shadur fell was because teams viewed him as a backup, and there's a lot of attention on him, and that's why like they don't want to take that on for a backup. For a kicker, a kicker can have so much against them off the field. As long as he hits those kicks, there's a 99% chance he's in the league. And it seems like it. 3 of those 4 teams have had shit like that happen to him, so I'm assuming no one in Cincy has had shit like that, right? Because I know, obviously, Tucker and Deshaun, and then Ben had an allegation a while back, but I think that all got sorted out. Just coming back from commercial break. 2 minutes to play in the half. It's 2nd and 1. Michigan in a prime spot here. Perkins and shotgun back to his right, 2 receiving options to each side. As Perkins is going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to be a no gain on the play. I believe that's Nate McCrary on the carry. Yep. And the clock continues to roll. DC ain't going to waste their timeouts just yet. 1:45 to play in the half. It's a 3rd and 1 coming up. I mean, yeah, Vontez Burfict was on the Bengals, so. Perkins and shotgun going to hand this off once again to Toa. This time to Toa Tawa, and this time is going to be a loss of about 2. And I believe now we're going to see DC call their 2nd timeout. Yep. So a 4th and 2, out comes BT Potter to try and make this an 11-point game with about a minute to play in the half. It's a 45-yard kick from the left hash. Kick is up, and it is good. 11-point Michigan lead, 1 minute to play. DC does have 1 timeout to try and get something on the board before the half, but this is starting to get ugly. And Michigan does get ball to begin the second half, so that is something to keep in mind as well. One timeout remains. DC, their offense, at least early on in this game, was definitely moving with ease. That last drive did not go as planned. 3 straight incompletions does not help by any means, especially when Teamu is sailing passes. One minute to play and a half, waiting for the kickoff here. All right, kickoff underway. Going to be returned from inside the 5 at about the 3. And has some room there for Jaden Mickens, but gonna get up to about the 30. I believe he is. That is a good question. I want to say yes. I've not heard much else about transfers out of OSU. Oh, there's a penalty marker on the return. Oh, it was a personal foul against DC. Gonna push him back. That ain't great. Yeah, he's still committed to Ohio State. He's still committed to Ohio State, and he's the #1 ranked recruit in the 2026 class. So he's still not even in college yet. Like he's in his junior year of high school right now. Or he'll be entering his senior year of high school in the fall. So it's gonna be a minute before we see Chris Henry Jr. But when he got a good receivers coach over there in Ohio State though. Telling me to throw right side, caught by Roland and going to stiff arm his way for a gain of 8. Yeah, it's an extra year. But again, Brian Hardline's a great receivers coach over at Ohio State. Ohio State is slowly becoming a receiver U. So it's going to be fun to watch. It does suck that we have to wait till next year before he's in college football 27. Pass right side of second down is going to be incomplete. Trying to fit one in there to Javon Antonio. But a good play made by Levante Taylor, who is now slow to get up on the DC sideline. We're supposed to be getting more news about college football 26. That's probably in a week or so. Actually, we'll probably get more news about that game. I'm really excited. Yeah, Pac-Man Jones as well. I don't know. Like, I know he spent a good while in Cincy, and it's probably more so known for his time in Cincy. For me, Pac-Man Jones is a Tennessee Titan. Oh yeah, that's instantly grabbing that right knee after an awkward landing. Yeah, but he's up. He's walking under his own power. That's a good sign, bud. So that's a tough loss for this Michigan defense. That corner. He's their slot corner, so it's a tough loss there. So 3rd and 1. Tiamu and shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. 50 seconds to play in the half. Going to look to throw. Quick pass, left side caught, and he's going to have some room to run for Jaden Mickens. Pass the 25 to the 27. Michigan also had to call a timeout after that for the injury timeout. They have 2 remaining. Again, just looking to get into field goal range here if you're DC. Tiamu and shotgun once again. Going to look to throw once again. Pressure coming, going to roll to his right to buy some time. Still looking, going to throw it deep right side, and it's a throwaway incomplete. 36 seconds remain in the half, and Teamu is just fixing his cleat there. Yeah, this Michigan front, I mean, I think the craziest thing about this Michigan front 7 is they're still playing this well, And Breland Speaks has not been active the past few weeks. He is still on IR. And that is a massive weapon for this defense that just has not been available for them. Tiamu in shotgun looking to throw on 2nd and 10. Has some time, passes tipped at the line, and that's a... What's the rule in there? I think it's a diving interception. It's going to be very close. Kendrick Whitehead. I think now they're ruling it incomplete. That's close. That's a great effort nonetheless there by Whitehead. I think that'll be incomplete though. 30 seconds left in the half. Let's see this replay. Yeah, ball is tipped at the line. Oh, that's close. That's definitely the camera angle. I just need to slow down a bit. That is close. I can't. Can you show a slow down, please? If this is an interception, DC is now ruling incomplete. Telling me to throw on 3rd and 10, and now there's a stoppage before the snap. They're gonna call a false start on DC. Yep, false start on DC. One of the consistent issues with Jordan Ta'amu is balls batted away at the line. Like, it is a consistent issue. So Ta'amu in shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side, a 3rd and 15 from their own 22. Quick pass over the middle is caught by Mickens and he's going to get brought down at the 29. Not enough for the first down. And DC is going to have to send this one down with Michigan calling their 2nd timeout. Michigan gets ball to begin the 2nd half, and they're going to have about 17 seconds to get in the field goal range here. It's a 4th and 8 for DC. It was close. If they would have showed a slowed down version of the end zone camera, it would have been able to tell a lot better. It's just very close. And in a situation like this, I'm sure, I think it's Blandino today in the command center. Blandino would have looked at it like twice by the time we see a replay. A good return there for Michigan, going to get up past the 35, maybe the 40, I believe, to around either the 38, 42. 10 seconds to play in the half. They have 1 timeout. Field goal range is inside the 40. Yeah, it's going to have a long ways to go. I'd imagine Michigan would just need this one to halftime here. Yeah, they have ball in the 36, and they're going to need this to halftime. So an 11-point Panthers lead. They get ball to begin the 2nd half. And what has been a game that has been going... I've not been expecting this kind of game so far from either side. Michigan is playing really well offensively. They're having consistent drives. Their defense has surprised me a bit, but at the same time, DC has kind of screwed themselves over in this game. It really should be an 8-point game at the very least. I mean, you fail that 4th and 1 to begin the game on inside your own 5, and then you give up a touchdown. Not great. Yeah, I could see that being the 4. Arlington definitely does have a say in it, but it's going to be a very tough end of season for Arlington. And you know, like Houston could surprise. Houston could definitely surprise. I mean, Birmingham is not this unbeatable force like they have been in years prior. And last time Houston and Birmingham played, it wasn't that much of a blowout for Birmingham. It was actually a pretty solid game. So I could see Houston keeping it close the rest of the way. But like, yeah, Michigan does not have an easy end of schedule anymore. Michigan does not have an easy end of schedule. DC, yeah, I mean DC has San Antonio next week, but besides that, it's still kind of tough. I don't know. Houston having come out of nowhere and turning their season around has been a massive wrench into all of this. Because like what were once games where you can confidently say this team is better than Houston in, now all of a sudden Houston will be able to put up a fight. So we'll see. As we just entered halftime, Michigan gets ball to begin the second half, up by 11, with an offense that has been moving and connecting on all cylinders so far in this one. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, just a bunch of baseball going on right now as well. It is weird that we're at that because we're at that like in between rounds for for NBA and NHL. Where like there's no noon games any no like noon 1 o'clock starts until Saturday probably. And even then, who knows? Because there's not that many games left. That many matchups, I should say, for those playoffs. Yeah, we shall see. Like DC is by no means out of this game. I mean, they were down by a lot to Arlington last week, but we were able to make some really good halftime adjustments on defense, and damn near shut out that Arlington offense. So we'll see, but they're gonna need it's a lot different of a challenge to slow down Bryce Perkins than it is Luis Perez. We shall see. And yep, there we go, showing off the Battlehawks Renegades game from Friday night. A really damn showing for the Battlehawks defense. And then the game last night between the Showboats and Roughnecks, also a really last night yesterday, also a really damn good show. And Houston goes to three. Goes Houston has now won 3 of their last 4. And again, all of a sudden, they're in the playoff race in the USFL. If either Michigan or Birmingham lose today, Houston would be tied for second in that conference. And if a DC loss will put them tied with St. Louis for the top spot in the XFL conference. So things are just starting to get interesting here in the UFL. We shall see. We shall see. It is it is funny to see because Bryce Perkins got trended on Twitter because of that touchdown throw to Cole Coutinho. And Bryce Perkins, man, playing incredibly well all year long. But it's so funny being like, one, people forgetting that he's no longer on an NFL roster in some capacity because he used to be on the Rams. And two, people being like, damn, this dude is good. Yeah, Bryce Perkins, man, playing really, really well. We'll see. Again, we'll see if it can continue into the second half. DC is not going to go down without a fight. That's for sure. There's also one more thing I want to check about this game so far. Yeah, Bryce Perkins is 7 for 8 completion. Like he's also just efficient with the ball in his hands. That is to say, though, Tiami was also playing well. 13 for 22. We shall see. All right. The start of the second half and the second half kickoff here momentarily. Yeah. I mean, that's a good thing about that's a good thing about the UFL. Is it gives these guys a shot. But I mean, it's not comparable to how he's playing compared to Adrian Martinez last year. But Michigan's offensive system is also working in the favor of Perkins as well by keeping things simple for him. But even still, like he's also just making a lot of plays with his legs that just make you go, "How in the fuck did he make that play?" This entire season, he's been doing that. Week 1 against Memphis, that 4th-and-2 touchdown run was incredible. This week, he has had 2 really solid plays. One was a touchdown, the other was the stiff arm that allowed him to get a few yards and avoid a massive loss. I think also against Memphis, the second time he made a great play. Yeah, San Antonio plays Birmingham. That kicks off at 4 p.m. EST. I will also be live for that game. We'll have about an hour in between. Which Kevin Hogan is getting the start for San Antonio today. I don't know how to feel about that, but I also didn't know how to feel about Dresser Wynn getting the start against Birmingham last week, and he proved me so wrong and got a much needed overtime win for Memphis. So we'll see. It's a third string quarterback going to get in the start against Birmingham on the road. Anything's possible. But Birmingham's also looking to bounce back though. They had that tough loss last week to Memphis. I definitely think that's the weaker game of this week, but it still very well could prove me wrong and be interesting. But yeah, Bryce Perkins. Yeah, through the first 5 weeks, he was not like the every down starter. Right? He was not the every down starter. But he still has played that well in those limited reps to begin the season where he's the lead for he's the lead for MVP. Like So this has still been a even game. Just looking at the stats, I mean, DC is leading in yards by 10. Michigan only has one more first down. DC is converted as right. That's a better third down percentage. I think so. 5 for 9. It's just it was all just that opening drive for DC. If they get points on an opening drive, this game does not appear as this game doesn't have that big of a disparity. Wait, did you see that stat correctly on the bottom ticker? This is really going to be Winnipeg's second Game 7 in franchise history. I'm sorry, what? I mean, I guess that mean because what team relocated to become the Winnipeg Jets again? It wasn't Thrashers. Was it the Thrashers? It was the Thrashers. Because the Atlanta Flames became the Calgary Flames. The Atlanta Thrashers became the Winnipeg Jets. At least this new iteration of them. So yeah, the Thrashers were not a good team, so it makes sense. Okay. I mean, both quarterbacks have been held upright. Their offensive lines are doing their part. I think the difference has been the ground game. DC's ground game has not really been there in the same capacity that Michigan's has. Michigan's ground game's at they're about 70 yards right now compared to DC's that's at about 40. All right, still just waiting for this second half kickoff. No matter how much they show that play by Bryce Perkins, it still will never make sense. As again, Michigan gets ball to begin the second half. We await the second half kickoff in this one. Up by 11 with a great shot to be able to extend this lead and really put pressure on Tayambi with this DC offense. But first, kickoff is on the way, going to be returned beginning from about the 11. Working his way past the 30, has some room past the 35 and brought down near the 36, maybe 37. And now comes Bryce Perkins. It has been a great year for him so far. And a great game so far for him, trying to continue it. So Perkins in shotgun, back behind him, 2 receiving options to each side. First play of the second half, ball on their own 37. Perkins is going to hand this off right side for Toatawa, and that is a gain of about 2. Right. I don't hate the idea of trying to play time of possession battle. You're up by 11. You know your offense can score and move the ball down the field. So it's 2nd and 8. Perkins in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. Ball now on the 39. Play clock winding down under 5 seconds to get the snap off. Perkins looks to throw. Going to step up. It has room to run. A first down and more. Sliding down near midfield. A gain of about 10 there for Bryce Perkins. You cannot leave the middle of the field open against this team. You just can't leave middle of the field open like that. Perkins in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. They're going to say ball on the 49-yard line. as Perkins is going to hand this off up the middle, and that is a really solid carry for Toa Taua past midfield to about the plus 44 and a half, 45 yard line. And if you can play this time of possession battle really well, Michigan's gonna have this game. $13-13 to play in the third quarter. Perkins in shotgun back to his right. Gonna send the receiver in motion left to right to make it 3 receiving options on the right side. Perkins gonna hand this off once again up the middle, and that's Toa Taua spinning his way in the second effort. Seemingly got enough for the first down. I think he got right to the line. So that's a 4.5 yard carry for Toa Taua and a first down once again for Michigan. They're doing a great job staying ahead of the chains as well. It's just been a really efficient and effective game so far for Michigan. It's impressive. Perkins in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. Ball on the 41 yard line. Perkins going to play action, look to throw. Pressure coming and avoid it. Breaks off 1 sack. Rolling to his right to buy some time. Still looking. Keeping it himself. Breaks 1 tackle. First down and more. Down the sideline. Eventually out of bounds. But not before getting past the 20 to the 18. There is a penalty marker down, however. Bryce Perkins, he does not go down easy. That's for damn sure. But this penalty will probably bring it back as, yep, it is on Michigan. Gonna call Holden on Gunnar Oaks. So it's a 1st and 20 coming up. But still, Perkins does not go down easy. And that play once again exemplifies it. How egregious is this Holden? It's not that egregious. It's there, but that's one where we need to get consistency on Holden calls. That same similar Holden was ruled a non-Holden yesterday after a challenge. So ball now on their own 49. Perkins and shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. A 1st and 20 with under 12 minutes to play in the quarter. Perkins to throw. Has time. Pass over the middle is incomplete. Dropped by Gunnar Oaks. Who's that right guard? Cole Cabral just laid out a massive hit against a DC edge rusher. Holy. A pancake there. Yeah, Cole Cabral laid out a massive block on Derek Roberson. It's now 2nd and 20. That's love to see that out of your offensive line. Perkins in shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. As Perkins will look to throw. DC sends pressure. Pass right side is incomplete. Trying to get the halfback screen going, but blown up instantly. It's a 3rd and 20. And yep, that Holden call now is going to look like a drive killer here for Michigan. Oh, Shane Harris was not happy about that hit on the first down play. But you have your challenge, man. You could have challenged it. You were not going to win, but you could have challenged it. At 3rd and 20, if you get about 10, 11, you have a field goal range. Perkins to throw. Pressure coming. Avoids 1 sack and then look to his left. Still rolling left. Looking downfield. Eventually going to keep it himself. Breaks the tackle. Has room to run. A first down and more inside of 25 to 20. And brought down right there at the 20. Bryce Perkins using his legs. His helmet does get knocked off as a little slow to get up. But Bryce Perkins, man, using his legs, keeps this drive alive for Michigan. He does not go down easy. I love that he was focusing on the pass downfield before eventually just tucking in and run. And it worked. Like, he broke. And man, Bryce Perkins is playing well. Oh yeah, he might be taken out though for concussion protocol here. He takes a bad hit at the end of this. Yeah, Perkins is on the sideline. We're gonna have Danny Edling for a little bit. Deontay Anderson, lays a pretty ugly hit on Perkins as he's going down. So a great carry of about 31 yards for Bryce Perkins. And now we have Danny Edling. He's in shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right as well. Edling going to hand this off up the middle for McCrary. A first down carry and more. The 5 diving forward and down at the 1. A touchdown saving trip up by, I believe that was Anthony Hines. Or it was Momo Sanogo. But nonetheless, Nate McCrary, a 19-yard carry on that one. No, it was a touchdown saving trip up by Josh Proctor. Just lays a big enough hit to where McCrary couldn't keep his footing the entire way. Now 1st and goal from the 1. And Bryce Perkins is back in this game. Perkins in shotgun back to his left. 3 receiving options to the right. All 3 tight ends lined up that way. Handoff. McCrary up the middle. Opening drive touchdown for Michigan to begin the half. They're looking to run away with this one. 9:14 to play in the 3rd. It is a 17-point lead. Yeah, 17-point Michigan lead. Now, 17 points is 2 possessions in the UFL. Oh, they're going to go for the 1-point try from the 2. So if they get this, it is still technically a 2-possession lead. As Perkins in shotgun, back to his right. 3 receiving options to the left as all 3 tight ends are lined up to that side. Perkins in shotgun, back to his right. Perkins going to keep it himself, rolling to his right, trying to buy some time. Still looking, pass, end zone, wide open, Malik Turner. It's an 18-point Michigan lead, 9:14 to play. Bryce Perkins' mobility got Malik Turner open on that one. As Perkins was heading towards the line, the corner on that side bit heavy on trying to stop Perkins. Malik Turner left wide open because of it. And was that a no look? Hell yeah. But a fantastic way to start the half for Michigan. Again, they played the middle 8 of this game so perfectly. And that's why they're up by 18. Which again, 18 is a 2-possession lead. You can get 9 points on a single drive. But DC is really going to need something here. Like, you need points. But we're at a commercial break. We shall see. We shall see. Yeah, but again, DC is going to need a drive here from their offense. They started to stall at the end of the first half, but if they can get something. Shall see. Was there a commercial break? We're waiting for DC's first drive of the half. Last time DC had the ball, I mean, they had the ball at the tail end of the first half. But all of a sudden, being down by 18, they have a long ways to go to find the long ways to go to get back into this one. All right, here we go. Just coming back from the commercial break, we await the kickoff here for DC's first drive of the half. They're interviewing their right tackle and right guard. Yeah, the right side of that offensive line from Michigan. They've been playing really well today as well. As kickoff is underway, DC will return this. So you're gonna let that bounce and return beginning from the 6 now. And that's going to get up to past the 20. Chris Rowland trying to find room down the left side and force out of bounds near the 26. So again, Michigan has really figured out the special teams department of this and the kick coverage of it. As we await for DC's first drive of the second half. So Tiamu and shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the right as well. Going to hand this off to Deion Jackson up the middle. Has some room and a gain of 9 up to the 35. As Teamu under center, gonna play action and look to throw in 2nd and 1. Has time, launch and went deep down the field. Has the man, Chris Rowland, the 20, the 15, the 10, the 5, and that's how you respond for DC. Chris Rowland streaking down the middle of the field. It's a 12-point game with 8.5 to play in the third. A 65-yard touchdown for DC. Hey, that's what Teamu can do. He might be inconsistent at times with his passes, but if you have a man open down the field, he's gonna throw it and he's gonna hit it. Great pocket, wide open over the middle, and no one's catching Chris Rowland in space. Arnold Harperly tried, but that's a massive touchdown there for DC. Exactly what they needed, and they will go for 2 from the 5. Tiamu and shotgun back to his left, 2 receiving options to each side. Gonna send Rowland in short motion. Now he's motioning across the entire field towards the right. As Tiamu will look to throw. Pass, end zone, caught. They get the 2 points. It's a 10-point Michigan lead. Really more on the reception. And with 8.5 to play in this quarter, this game's about to get a whole lot more interesting. Was it just him splitting the safeties? Yeah, it's just splitting the safeties. That's a nice play design there. All it is splitting the safeties. And letting Chris Rowland, with a free release, use his speed to get wide open. Big time play for DC. Exactly what they needed to get a spark for this offense. A 2-play touchdown drive. As we'll get to see Michigan's offense once more. Kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from about the 9. Has some room down the left side, gets up to about the 32. That's Devin Ross on the return. And out comes Bryce Perkins for the second time in this half. Opening drive of the second half was a touchdown. Can they respond to DC's answer? We shall see. We shall see. First play of the drive is a handoff up the middle for Toa Tawa, and that's some great running room for about 9, maybe enough for the first down. But this offensive line for Michigan is playing really, really damn well. And has been a main factor in this game. Chris Rowland, though, a great game on his own right. 7 receptions, over 150 yards, like playing really well. So 1st and 10 from the 42. Perkins in shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. Going to send Malik Turner in motion left to right. 7:45 to play in the third quarter. Perkins going to hand this off up the middle once again for Tawa, and that is a gain of roughly 3, maybe 4. Yeah, so a 2nd and 7 coming up. Perkins in shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers on each side after sending the receiver in motion right to left. As Perkins will look to throw once again. Quick pass left side caught by Siosi Mariner for a first down and then some. A gain of 9. Michigan has crossed midfield. Under 7 minutes to play in the third. And what has been a really damn good game so far in this one. DC looking to claw their way back into this. But they're going to need their defense to make a stand at some point. Perkins in shotgun back behind him. 3 receiving options to the right. Ball on the 46. Pressure coming for DC. Rolling to his right to avoid it. Throwing back left side. Has a man wide open. Gunnar Oaks. First down and more inside the 15 and brought down near the 14. The throwback tight end wheel works brilliantly for Michigan. And they have entered the red zone once again. DC sends pressure on pressure there. Perkins is unfazed. The play actions was sold perfectly. And Gunnar Oaks, all by himself. He was definitely open on that play. And the ball was placed in a bucket. Now ball on the 12-yard line. Perkins in shotgun back to his right. Going to hand this off up the middle for Toa Tawa. Breaks some tackles, spinning his way inside the 2 at the 1. Toa Tawa, man, running well. Again, this man, was he even on a roster before week 4, or was he just buried in this running back room? But Toa Tawa, he has been a fantastic back for Michigan. It has been a mainstay in this offense for the past few weeks. Really has gotten his chance to shine. Or I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, during that Memphis game, they talked about how he was at a grocery store to begin the season after working with Michigan during training camp. A handoff on 1st and goal from about the 1.5 yard line, gonna move him back to about the 4, as DC read that like a book. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was a case where, yeah, because they had, I'm forgetting what back they had before, but they had Matthew Colburn, because they had, Michigan had Nate McCrary, Matthew Colburn, and Jaden Sheridan as their 3 backs exiting training camp. Colburn goes down. They bring back Toa Tawa afterwards. And since then, he has been a fantastic back for them. 2nd and goal from the 4. Perkins in shotgun back to his right, looking to throw. Pass right side, caught by Marner, diving forward. That's a touchdown, but penalty markers fly. There's going to be offensive pass interference here. There's going to be OPI here, right? I mean, it seems like two separate Michigan receivers bulldoze their defenders. Yep, it's gonna be offensive pass interference there on Michigan. So that's a tough penalty, but that was obvious as well. I mean, he kind of gets pushed into him, but then you have Malik Turner, who definitely is pass interference there. I would not challenge this. What's my Oh, okay. So Mike Nolan is going to challenge something on that play. But he's challenging that on top of the offensive pass interference, there should have been DPI against DC unless the penalties were offset. This is going to be interesting. So Michigan's going to lose the challenge because so it was a defensive holding call, but not defensive pass interference. And Michigan challenged for defensive pass interference, not defensive holding. So while there was a penalty there against DC, they're not going to win the challenge, and the offensive pass interference will not get offset by a defensive penalty, and it will remain a 2nd and goal from the 14. That's why you have to be 100% certain and specific about the challenges. So Michigan will lose a timeout as well. That's why challenges are risky. And also, because of the whole super challenge thing, you need to be specific on what you're challenging. It was Birmingham last week lost a challenge because they said that there was offensive holding on, but the player that got held, they said the wrong number, so they lost the challenge because of it. If you're gonna be, you have to be specific, and you have to make sure you're dead on all the details if you're gonna challenge. Bad snap. Perkins couldn't hang on to it. Gonna be sacked well back for a massive loss of yards. Back to the 35. That snap came in hot. Perkins was not prepared for it. And Derek Roberson, one of a few different defenders that was back there. So the offensive pass interference pushes them back 10. That sack will push them back about 20. It's now a 3rd and a long ways to go on 3rd and goal. You're not gonna be able to get all of it. The hope is to just simply get enough for an easy field goal here. Perkins alone in shotgun, 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Balderson on the 28-yard line. They get the snap off. Perkins to throw. Gonna roll to his left. Has time wide open left side to Siosi Marner. Gonna get inside the 20 and out of bounds at the 17.5-yard line. So it's 4th and goal. They're in a really good field goal range here with 3:20 to play in the quarter. A field goal will make it a 13-point Michigan lead. DC still very much in this game. because of the offensive pass interference, followed up by the botched snap. That's a very unfortunate series of events there for Michigan. But again, they're still sitting pretty, especially if this goes through. It's a 36-yard kick from the left hash for BT Potter. Under 3 minutes to play now. And they're going, the kick is up, and he's going to miss it to the left. No good, misses left, but there is a penalty here. As this is probably going to be on DC. Deontay Anderson tried to do the old Troy Polamalu / Earl Thomas play of jumping over the snapper to block the kick. And I don't think he got a clean enough jump there. He's going to be on personal foul on DC. It's going to give Michigan a first down. You can't do that down by 10, man. You can't. You can't do that down by 10. Yeah, he tries to jump over the snapper, but he gets clipped. He clips the snapper just enough to warrant that penalty. And it's a personal foul, so it's an automatic first down. You can't be doing that. Not down by 10. You can't be doing that. And again, he missed the kick. He missed the kick as well, so it would have been a perfect spot for DC. Instead, it's first and goal from the 3 for Michigan. Perkins in shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side. Perkins going to keep it himself, trying to find some room left side. Nothing going, a loss of 2. That might have just lost DC the game. If Michigan can get and find the end zone here, that might have just lost DC the game. Minutes, 2:10 to play in the third. Yeah, that's what happens when you try. That might have just lost DC the game, and that's a really bad way to lose. Perkins in shotgun back to his left, 3 receivers to the right, second and goal from the 5, looking to throw. Pressure coming, gonna try and avoid it, rolling to his right, has some room. Stiff arming, breaking off sacks, has room to run, spinning, touchdown Michigan. Get Bryce Perkins the MVP. What the... Get Bryce Perkins the MVP tonight. What a touchdown run. Again, he does not go down easy. He stumbles, finds his balance, outruns 2 defenders players, including stiff arming one of them. A beautiful spin move at the 1-yard line. Bryce Perkins, the madman you are. Anthony Hines got stiff-armed to oblivion by Bryce Perkins. And then Joe Wallace got spun to a different dimension by him. The 1-point try from the 2. Perkins and shotgun going to hand this off up the middle, and that goes nowhere. It's a 16-point lead with 1:40 to play in the third. But oh my. That is a 6-point swing in this game because of the personal foul penalty on the missed field goal. And then Bryce Perkins pulling off some more magic plays in this game. He is, God. Okay, again, Bob Flash. You know I love Danny Edling, and I love the headcanon we have that he's going to end up being a Super Bowl winning head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. It is dumb that we came up with that last year, but I still love it. If Danny Edling never saw the field this season, the Panthers are probably still undefeated. Bryce Perkins should never leave the field unless he is forced to due to unfortunate circumstances. Yes, I saw that. I saw that. Tom Brady's and AB's text messages got leaked. That's crazy. Because again, that 2019 season, was Brady's last year in New England. They were a really good team, but got bounced first round by the Titans. If AB doesn't have his whole fiasco there and he stays a Patriot for the entire season, there is a pretty solid chance the Patriots go to the Super Bowl and win. And Brady gets his seventh in New England. And honestly, he probably retires after that season if it happens. Like there is a very solid chance that AB would have been that big of a difference maker for New England. I was at that Week 2 game. I was at Antonio Brown's only game as a Patriot. He was decimating us. To be fair, Miami was also a really bad team that year. But like AB 100% could have had his Randy Moss year that year in New England. Dude, that looks like uh, Bryce Perkins is still probably the MVP this season. He is playing out of his mind this year, like incredibly, incredibly well. I think the bigger thing is again the when the playoffs roll around, home field matters a lot, especially if you're traveling, especially traveling to a place like Birmingham. Michigan has yet to beat Birmingham over the past few years. So if being able to get Birmingham back in Michigan would be a massive factor in the playoffs. But like because of the losses early on in the season due to Danny Edling's playing time, like who knows if they're gonna need some help in getting that factor. I mean, they do play Birmingham second to last week in the season, so there's a chance there. But man, and yeah, no one was open on that touchdown run. Bryce Perkins just pulled off some magic. Like, jeez. Kickoff underway, gonna bounce and be returned inside the 10 at the 8. And Deion Jackson gonna get brought down inside the 15 at the like 14. Inside the 15, like the 12. Yeah, week 9 is when they play each other next. Which that's gonna be a fantastic game. Also, like Michigan's special teams unit and department is playing really well as well this year. I mean, the way that BT Potter and the kickoff unit works for Michigan, it's fantastic. I would not be surprised if we see a lot of NFL teams use that same style of just watermelon kicking the ball off the tee. So ball on the 13, Tiamu and shotgun back to his left, 3 receiving options to the left as well. Tiamu going to quick throw over the middle to Roland. That's caught for a gain of about 12 up to the 25. Under a minute and a half to play in the third. Yeah, that's... And Tiamu going to hand this off to Abram Smith left side and going to get about 6 up to the 31. A minute to play in the third. We got one more play at least in this quarter. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right. 3 receivers to the right as well. Tiamu going to give this to Abram Smith once again, and this time going to lose 2 back to the 29. And with 40 seconds left in the quarter, we are going to need one more play. It is a 3rd and 6 for DC. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving, two receivers to each side. Looking to throw on 3rd and 6. Quick pass right side, tipped and incomplete. Yamu threw that into triple coverage. How is that not picked off? DJ Miller, one of 3 Panthers there, that should have picked that ball off. That was a terrible decision. Kenai Lovely was there. DJ Miller was there. I want to say Frank Ginda was the other Panther that was there. It's either him or Noah Dawkins. Either way, that's the end of the 3rd quarter. It's a 4th and 6. DC down by 16, and Tiamu been a not a great showing for him, that's for sure. But really has not been a great showing for this DC defense, especially. So I avoided doing playoff predictions this year for the NBA and NHL, in part because I didn't really cover the regular seasons for those like how I wanted to initially. But I'm looking at some of the brackets that some like high-end analysts released. PK Subban, who is a great analyst, I love watching him on ESPN. Don't get me wrong with what I'm about to say. This man was a dumbass in his bracket. There's a good chance he only gets 1 matchup right from the first round, which is crazy. If corners had consistent hands, they would be playing receiver. So another fun fact about the Blues Jets game tonight. That's the 200th all-time Game 7 in the NHL. So that's funny that that's the matchup for it. I'm really excited for that matchup, though. That's going to be a good game. As we're still at commercial break due to the end of the 3rd quarter, I would not be shocked if we see DC go for it here, but most likely you just have to send it down. Yeah, your defense has been struggling all game to stop Michigan. You need to have faith. You need to have faith that you need to have faith that you can stop them at least once. We'll see. Yeah, we still have commercial break. All right. Just coming back from commercial break, they're highlighting the WNBA preseason game between Brazil and Indiana that's going to be going on after this. It would be fun. I would love to see the Blues make it to the 2nd round. They're going to have a tough matchup in the 2nd round against the Stars, but it would still be nice to see. Wait, would it be against the Stars? Whoever they end up playing in the 2nd round will be tough for them. Punt underway, comes off clean, going to be bouncing and return. No, gonna let it bounce to about the 29. Brazil was better. Yeah, but the difference is the Stars. Damn, so both game 7s for the NHL are now gonna be the 2nd round matchup. That's cool. Yes, that means it's Golden Knights and I was just looking at the bracket. Why am I Golden Knights and Edmonton in the 2nd round? That's a pretty solid matchup. Hey, Perkins in shotgun, back to his right, 2 receiving options to each side, ball on their own 29-yard line. Perkins going to hand this off up the middle for Nate McCrary, and that is a gain of roughly 4, maybe, yeah, 4. Yeah, Bryce Perkins, man, he's been having a really, really good middle of the season. Perkins and shotgun back to his left, 3 receivers to the right. Ball on about the 32.5-yard line. Perkins to throw. As time pass left side is a little low and dropped. Looking for Jalen Werdermeyer. It's now 3rd and 6. Big third down for DC here. Gotta be able to make this stand. The big difference is Kalen Clark's on Indiana, and for the majority of people, that's the reason they're watching the WNBA. It's the same way Jordan had a bunch of those international expedition games aired on national television. Perkins to throw in 3rd and 6. Pressure coming past left side is tipped in the air and luckily falls incomplete. Somehow Deontay Anderson did not catch that pass. Deontay Anderson, man, how in the world did you not pick this ball off? That should have been an interception, but great defense there. Looking for COC Marner. Yeah, through the fingertips. So 4th and 6, DC makes the much needed stand. And then just realized, yep, never change possession. That's fine. DC makes the much needed stand. And again, first time in a while this Michigan offense is held behind midfield. Punt comes off clean. That's a great punt. Return going to begin inside the 20 at the 17 for Chris Rowland. Past the 25 and going to be brought down near the 26. So again, we still have one more game today. About an hour after this one ends, we have San Antonio versus Birmingham at 4 p.m. EST, which is going to be an interesting one to watch for sure. Yeah, probably, but ESPN. You gotta think about how ESPN as a media outlet works. They do not care. Handoff up the middle for Abram Smith is going to gain about 3. Like, I bet you if I turn on First Take tomorrow, they're still going to be talking about LeBron James. Even though Curry could have a 40-point night in Game 7 tonight, and they're still going to mention LeBron James in the conversation. They do not care. Down to throw in 2nd and 7. Pass right side going to be caught and going to be a first down pickup of about 10 for Braylon Sanders. I mean, there's a reason that at least for NBA coverage, this has been popular, but a lot of people have shifted over towards Kenny and his Numbers on the Board podcast because it's actual good NBA coverage, and they talk about the entire league about most times. Damu gonna keep it himself up the middle on a QB draw. It's a gain of 3, but why are you running a design QB keeper at this stage of the game? Like, really, at this stage of the game, a QB keeper. Okay. I'm pretty sure I've yet to see ESPN talk about the Rockets in a good light these playoffs, despite them making the comeback. Teamu throwing right side on 2nd and 7. That's overthrown and incomplete. Luckily not on target. That would have been either a hospital pass or picked off. Looking for Chris Rowland on that play. Yeah, exactly. Like, ESPN has their 3 or 4 teams they love to talk about, and they only talk about other teams in relation to those teams. That's for every sport, if they even talk about said sport. Yamu and shotgun back to his left, 3 receiving options to the left as well. Ball in the 41. Pressure coming. Tiamu to throw, passing deep, left side into triple coverage, and incomplete. Looking for Chris Rowland again. What are these back-to-back play calls? There's no need to have those deep shots there. That's a waste of an opportunity. They're not gonna have to punt this one down once again. 10.5 to play in this game. 16-point lead for Michigan. They're about to get the ball right back. Punt comes off clean. Going to be returned beginning from about the 11-yard line. Trying to work his way past the 20, gets to the 22, maybe 23. Yeah, exactly. It's those three. The Ravens as well, I would put in like a second tier as we head to a commercial break. Those three are definitely tier one. In a second tier, I'll put Cincy, Baltimore, San Francisco, and both LA teams. And then everyone else is like 3 tiers below in the pecking order. From those. Maybe you throw the Packers in like a tier 3 and they're standalone. It was alongside Detroit. But like for the most part, like they do not like talking about most other teams. Which to be fair, you're not gonna get good ratings talking about how to fix the New Orleans Saints for 5 hours. No. Like you talk about the Saints during the draft, never again. That's the idea of ESPN. If you want to talk about like the lesser tier teams in their respective sport, you go to that specific sport network, like an NFL network, an MLB network. You don't go to ESPN for that. And even then, like an NFL network, they still don't love talking about the bottom tier teams. Like for the NBA, it's the Lakers, it's the Celtics, it's the Knicks in that one tier. In that tier 1, the tier 2 is like the Warriors. The Warriors, maybe the Cavs, not much anymore. The Mavs. Like it is all that talk about like being a big market and how important it is. But I could only tune into ESPN and them. I could only tune into ESPN and them being like, so how much longer is Jerry Jones? Like, I could only hear so much Jerry Jones discussion for one off season, and we're getting close to that limit already. As we're still at commercial break, about 10:15 to play in this game. Michigan up by 16, just got the ball back. But it's like that's why like in the fall especially, I want to start doing more. Like I want to bring back the weekly live streams during the week, like on a Wednesday night, on a Wednesday or Friday night, just do a live stream to discuss anything I might have not talked about during power rankings, predictions, and the other leagues as well that I have interest in. And I think this upcoming fall, I'll have a little bit more time to do those things. Now, since I'm doing one last class. Yeah, like that's the idea. On on Wednesday night, I'll make a list of things I want to discuss, and even that, and I can get that way I can also get like clips and shit to post on Saturday or something. Perkins and shotgun back behind him, a handoff up the middle for Nate McCrary is going to gain about 2, maybe 3. My only issue with Friday nights is I do know obviously that Rossi has his Friday night Q&As, and competing with that is a no-go right now. So I might do Saturday nights instead. We'll see. There is a defender down after that play. It is Dennis Johnson, the nose tackle. Hopefully all is good there. 9:52 to play in this game. That's a tough loss for this DC defense. Can't really afford to lose much from that nose tackle rotation that they have. But he's up. He's jogging off the field under his own power. That's a great sign to see. Hopefully he'll be back in this game for DC at some point. With a 2nd and 7, ball on about the 25.5-yard line, Perkins in shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side, bunched up. 9.5 to play in this game as the clock continues to run. Low snap, Perkins going to hand this off to McCrary for loss of about half a yard on that play. Now definitively going to be marking the ball at the 25. Clock continues to run. We're at 9 minutes left in this game. 3rd and 8 coming up for the Panthers. A big time 3rd down here for both sides. Perkins in shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the left. Gonna motion the tight end left to right. They get the snap off in time. Perkins to throw. Pressure coming. Pass right side. Caught by McCrary. Has some room to run. Gonna be brought down near the 38. Gonna be close. 8:35 to play in this game. Are they going to give them the first down? I believe they will. Yep, first down for Michigan. Nate McCrary out the backfield on a swing route. Going to keep this drive alive and let Michigan kill more clock. 8:20 to play now as they're still in this clock run. Have not broken the huddle yet. There's 13 seconds on the play clock. They break the huddle with 9 seconds left on the play clock. 8:05 to play in this game. Perkins in shotgun back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. To get the snap off in time, a handoff up the middle to McCrary is going to go for about 1 yard. We have crossed the 8-minute mark in this game. DC is going to need to either force a turnover or make a stand soon. The 2nd and 9 coming up. And just under 11,600 in the stands today for Michigan. That's a pretty good attendance number. Perkins alone in shotgun, 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right, looking to throw. Now going to roll to his right and going to keep it himself. Has room to run a first down and more. Past midfield, spinning his way past the 45 and down to about, actually make room down at the 45. A big first down carry for Bryce Perkins. 7 minutes remain in this game. Michigan able to kill much more clock. I will say this as we wait for this next play. No promises, but assuming the Florida Panthers make the Cup Finals again, there's a chance I go live during the clinching games of that series. Assuming the Panthers are in a position to clinch that series, I might go live for that game. I would love to get my reaction to them winning back-to-back Cups live on camera. Perkins in shotgun, looking to throw in 1st and 10. Has time, plenty of time. Pass right side wide open. Cole Hikatini. And finally brought down near the 25. 6:20 to play in this game. Bryce Perkins is playing well. This offensive line is playing well. DC just doesn't have an answer. Yeah, this back half of the season is getting really good. And it really does help having 3 teams in each conference that are pushing and fighting for the playoffs. That really does go a long way. Because by this point last season, we knew it was going to be Michigan and Birmingham in the playoffs. It didn't matter at that point. As Perkins going to hand this stuff up the middle for Toa Tower. Has room down the left side. Inside the 20, the 15. Inside the 10. Still going. Fighting his way. Inside the 5 near the 4. Toa Tower, man. He is running angry today. I love to see it. I want to say Perkins is close to 75 yards on the day rushing, and the team is definitely over 100. 5:25 to play in this one. Yeah, Bryce Perkins is at 76 yards rushing. The team as a whole is Let's see after this play. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. First and goal from the 6. Handoff to Tawa. Gets tripped up to about the 5. Oh, they're going the other way with this one. They're saying that Tawa fumbled, and that's going to be a scoop and score for Derek Roberson. Nothing but green grass ahead. If this is a fumble, this is a touchdown for DC with a penalty marker down. Tawa definitely was down by contact there. He was he was either down by contact or he gave himself up. There's no way that's a fumble. But I like that they let the play run. What's the penalty now, though? Okay, so after discussion, down by contact at the 5, that makes perfect sense. That's what it was. And they're going to pick up the flag, I guess? Yeah, I guess they picked up the penalty as well. So yeah, down by contact at the 5, that makes sense. So now, let me figure out these rushing totals. As a team, yeah, he's down by contact at the 5. As a team, the Michigan Panthers are at 213 rushing yards on 36 carries. Second goal from the 5. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. 2 receiving options to each side. Going to hand this, no, keeping himself. Passing end zone right side. Caught by Malik Turner. Breaks the tackle and gets in. That might be the dagger. 4.5 to play in this game. Now a 22-point lead for the Panthers. A 3-possession game. Just complete and utter dominance in this one. Ball was tipped at the line, but did not matter. Anthony Hines gets his hands on it, but still finds a way to get to Malik Turner. This has been such a good game for Michigan. Jeez. Now gonna go for 2 from the 5. Looking to make this a 28-point game, which will be 4 possessions. Perkins and shotgun back to his right. 3 receiving options to the right. Going to hand this off to Nate McCreary left side. Breaking tackles and gets in. It's a 28-point Michigan lead with 4.5 to play. Breaks 2 tackles on that 5-yard carry to get the conversion. And man, oh man, Michigan, it's been all Michigan in this one. Yeah, I mean, Bryce Perkins is playing incredible. 13 for 18 passing, 188 yards, a QBR of 142.8. I believe that is a perfect QBR. No, a perfect QBR is 158.3. This is as close to perfect as you can get. Yeah, I mean, at least I said it was a hypothetical perfect. Yeah, the issue with why this isn't a perfect QBR is because he's like 2 yards per attempt off. But this is basically a perfect game for Bryce Perkins, to no one's surprise. So, okay, playing really well there. 9 carries, 76 yards. All 3 running backs, well, both running backs and Perkins all have rushing touchdowns. That formula is ridiculous. I don't show the game because there's a lot of legal shit behind that, and I do not want to risk the channel getting taken down. ESPN, Fox, UFL, even the NFL, they are very strict on who is allowed to show the broadcast of games, which I am not one of the things that qualify, so I do not show the game. Thus why this is also a play-by-play. Yeah, I mean the streams that are showing the games are doing it illegally. Like I'm not taking those chances. Exactly. Do not have express written consent, which the NFL says during a lot of their commercials. I mean, there was a report a while ago, I think before last NFL season, that YouTube and the NFL are trying to work towards an agreement to allow creators to show the game as well for their for their live play by plays and stuff, but that's nowhere near in the cards yet. But yeah, Michigan is playing so well today. It's been so much fun to watch this team. Both running backs, both Toatawa and Nate McCrary, are at about 5 yards per carry. Bryce Perkins is up there at 8. Like I'm able to get away with using the highlights and using highlights for videos because those are video essays. They're meant to be more so educational and somewhat fall under fair use. The NFL still doesn't like it and still puts claims but not strikes, which is a good thing. Or at least like I get the notification that like this video includes copyrighted content, but like I'm like whatever. Kickoff underway, going to be returned beginning from inside the 20 and going to get up to about the 33. Weirdly enough, I will say this. Yeah, those are fair use cases. Weirdly enough, though, the NFL, whenever I use NFL highlights and stuff, those get the copyright stuff. Those get the claims. I have yet to get any type of copyright stuff on the UFL Power Rankings videos that I use the highlights from. So maybe the UFL the UFL isn't as big of a league yet to would probably care. But two, it means that like ESPN and Fox aren't really taking an eye on it either. Yeah. The other big thing is they don't really want you having the audio. As a screenplay, right side looking for Abram Smith is blown up and incomplete on 1st and 10, 4:20 to play in this one. Yeah, the other big thing is they don't really like having audio as well on videos, so like that's why like for the highlights and stuff, I try not to include the audio if I that way it's just make sure. Like they're strict with with what can be used. Jamu to throw in 2nd and 10. Pass deep left side is off the mark and incomplete. Just barely underthrown looking for Javon Antonio, but can I? No, but Adonis Alexander was also there in coverage. Yeah, just well, that's why like I have a setup. My setup right now allows me to have slight audio, but like whenever I need to like turn up the sound so that way I can hear what the refs are saying or whatnot, I mute my mic and just turn it up. Or make your own audio, like I'm doing now. Yami and shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side, ball on the 33-yard line, 3.5 to play in this game. Going to look to throw, has some time, stepping to his right to buy some more. Now going to take it himself and going to have some room, and that's a 1st down carry, a gain of 11. And there's some pushing and shoving post play. DC was not happy with the hit that Tiamu got laid on. Yeah. DC was not happy with the hit Tiamu took. There is now a penalty marker down, but I think that was a very clean hit. I mean, he was an active runner. He wasn't sliding down at all. That's a clean hit. This penalty will be an interesting one to see. So 1st down after the play, a personal foul on DC. And so it's a 15 yards and it's still a 1st down. But what was an 11-yard carry is now going to be a -4 total yards because of the penalty. Again, like it was a clean hit on Teamu. He hurdled, he was a runner, he wasn't sliding. But Mason Brooks still took offense to it and got a personal foul penalty. Like it's not a pretty hit by any means, but it's still a clean hit. 3 minutes to play in this one. First and 10 from their own 29. Yamu and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the left as well. Looking to make this more of a look. Not maybe. Yamu gonna step to his left and his look to throw. Now gonna pass to the left side. Caught with room to run past midfield down to the plus 44. That is Giovanni Antonio, but there is a penalty marker down on this play, close to the line of scrimmage. This may be brought back due to offensive holding. Yep, offensive holding on DC. Gonna call it on Tykeem Doss. 2:44 to play in this game. Back-to-back really bad penalties to take there. The team that will surprise everyone next NFL season will. No, screw it. Give me the Carolina Panthers. The Giants don't really have. I mean, yeah, I guess they got some good stuff, but Tell me to throw it first and 20. Pass left side's tipped and incomplete. Threw it high and through the hands of his intended target, and luckily falls incomplete. 2:14 to play in this one. Second and 20. That should bring us to the 2-minute warning. I'll have a more proper answer to who will be the surprise team next year when we get closer to the preseason. As again, once the UFL season ends, that's when I begin work on off-season recaps and next season previews for teams. I was high on the Panthers last year. I thought they were going to be a surprise team last year and win like 6-7 games, and be like a potential threat in the NFC South. Boy, was I wrong. I do like the pieces they've added this year so far. Like, I'll take a closer look at it as we get closer to the preseason. But yeah. I don't think he's the shortest QB. Maybe yeah, currently yes, but in NFL history, I still think that goes to Flutie. What Bryce Young is listed at? What 5'9"? Or is that Kyler Murray who's like 5'9"? Bryce Young is 5'10". Kyler Murray is 5'10". What was Doug Flutie listed at? I know he was a short QB as well. Also 5'10". Okay, cool. Wasn't there a QB who was 5'7"? Or am I just making... Yes, there was. Eddie LeBaron and Davey O'Brien both sat at 5'7". LeBaron was a 4-time Pro Bowler and played in the 50s. That's a video right there. Yeah, Deuce Vaughn is short as well. And like he's not. I feel like the Cowboys should give Deuce Vaughn a shot, but they're probably not going to. Eddie LeBaron. That's a video idea right there. Won't be great because getting highlights from the 50s is near impossible, but I think that could be like an all-encompassing, like a tidbit in a different one. All right, just coming back from commercial break. 2 minutes to play in this one. Michigan up by 28. It's a 2nd and 20. Yeah, Davey O'Brien. He played in the 30s. Yeah, typically you do not see short QBs, or really you don't see a lot of really tall QBs either. There's like a region of height that teams really like, or that just like fit the mold of quarterback better. Time to throw in 2nd and 20, quick pass right side, caught by Chris Rowland, going to get to about the 27-yard line and out of bounds. Does he really? Is he's who the O'Brien Award is named after? I mean, that makes sense. Wow. 3rd and 12, Tiamu and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right, gonna look to throw here. Pressure coming, rolling to his right, breaks off 1 sack. Still has room to run if he chooses. Now passing right side. That's a first down pickup for Javon Antonio down to the 45-yard line. 1:45 to play in this game. And at this point, DC is just trying to make the box score look better. Because, of course, that would be the reason. Tiamu and shotgun looking to throw. Quick pass right side is off the mark, incomplete. Looking for Javon Antonio. 1:32 left in this game. So 2nd and 10 from their own 45. Tiamu and shotgun back to his right. 2 receivers to each side. Gonna look to throw. Tiamu, pressure coming, rolling to his left to buy some time. Able to avoid 1 sack. Looking downfield, gonna take it himself and gain about a yard before getting out of bounds at the 46. 3rd and 9 coming up. He won 9 awards his senior year. I knew Burrow was like I know Burrow was like that dude his senior year, but 9 awards? What, the Heisman, the O'Brien, the Maxwell. What else? If he found a way to run the fucking Ray Guy Award. Tom to throw in 3rd and 9, quick pass right side, going to be caught by Deion Jackson in the flat, and going to get nothing on that play, no gain. So 4th and 9, last chance for DC to try and make this a better looking game on paper. This is Michigan's last home game until the final week of the season. They're about to go on a 3-game road stand, trying to keep their top spot going. As again, in about an hour is San Antonio versus Birmingham. I'll be live for that one as well. We're gonna take a little hour or so break before that game kicks off. As Tiamu looks to throw in 4th and 9, throwing deep right side, and it's incomplete. Looking for Braylon Sanders, but really great coverage there by Kanai Lovely. And like smaller QB awards, okay, that makes sense. Why I didn't realize that. 37 seconds left in this game. Michigan has the ball back. And this is a great win for the Panthers. And now all of a sudden, DC is tied for the top spot in the XFL conference alongside St. Louis, with Arlington breathing down both of their necks. It's going to get very interesting at the tail end of the season as DC still has to play both of them again. Danny Edling comes in for the knee downs. We're going to need one more. But nonetheless, that will do it. Oh, no, they reset the game. They reset the play clock. That will do it. We don't need any more knee downs. That's the game. Michigan, not only getting a much needed win, they dominated one of the best defenses in the UFL. They almost got 5 of those as well. Damn. This was a great win for Michigan. DC looking to bounce back, but they're gonna look to bounce. DC will look to bounce back against San Antonio next week, which is the only other team to give them a loss so far this season. Michigan looking to continue to ride this hot hand as they play Arlington next week. But Michigan now potentially has a chance to sit alone on top of the USFL conference. We'll see how the Birmingham Stallions play later today in about an hour. The Defenders are now tied for first place in the XFL conference. Tail end of the season, going to get very, very interesting. Now I'm going to call it here really quick because, again, I'm going to have to make this stream for the next one. We'll be back live in about an hour for the Brahmas and Stallions. So I'll see you all then. Have yourself a damn good one. Peace.